Hello everyone, welcome to my lecture about the history of English literature. I am Dr. Mohsen. I am junior lecturer at English department. We are going to discuss and apprehend an incredible world of literature. So I am here with a crisp summary of Old English period as well as the Middle English period. Please, if you don't subscribe my channel, do subscribe it, hit the bell, you will never miss an update. Before I start our discussion about the Old English period, I would like to invite you to hear an outline about the history of English literature, literary ages. As it has been mentioned here, we have the Old English period, which is also known as the Anglo-Saxon period. The timeline in that period is from 450 to 1066. We have the Middle English period. The timeline in that period is from 1066 to 1580. It is also subdivided into two shorter ages, the Anglo-Norman age as well as the age of Chaucer. After that, we come to the Renaissance period. The timeline in that period is from 1500 to 1660. It is also subdivided into four shorter ages: the Elizabethan age, the Jacobean age, the Caroline age, Civil War, and Commonwealth. We come to the Neoclassical period. The timeline of the Neoclassical period is from 1660 to 1785. It is also subdivided into two shorter ages, Restoration age and Enlightenment age. Enlightenment age is also called the Age of Reason, the Age of Augustine, the Age of Hope, or the Age of Sensibility, and Johnson. We come to the Romantic period. The timeline of the Romantic period is from 1798 to 1837. Romantic period has always been divided into early, mid, and late, and it is also subdivided into two phases, pre-Raphaelites as well as aestheticism and decadence. After that, we come to the Victorian period. The timeline of the Victorian period is from 1837 to 1901, and from 1901 to 1945 is called the modern period, and from 1945 to the present is considered as the postmodern period. After giving a general information about the whole history of English literature, literary ages, we are going to start our discussion about the Old English period. As you know, the Old English period is known Anglo-Saxon period. The timeline on that period is from 450 AD to 1066. In ancient time in England, there were no boundaries and people were living in groups or tribes, and the warriors attacking each other, and whoever wins occupied the territory. In ancient time, the England island was governed by two tribes, Celts and Gaels, as you can see here. They invaded to the island of England and ruled for centuries and imposed their own language, Celtic and Gaelic. After that, the island of England attacked two times by Romans. It was in the first century after Christianity that Romans attacked to the England, and England became a part of Roman Empire. And it is obviously their language, Latin, was replaced with the Celtic and Gaelic. And they ruled for approximately 400 years, and it was in 450 that again the island of England was attacked by Germanic tribes, Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. They were Germanic tribes who were from southeast Russia, and they ruled for approximately 500 years, and they finally ended in 1066 with Norman conquest. After giving a general information about the Old English period, we have the language of that period. The languages was a mixture of Brythonic and the tribal Germanic language, and also we have the very notable poets Caedmon and Cynewulf. And in those times, we had three types of poetry, heroic poetry, lyric poetry, and Christian poetry. A very good example, classical example about lyric poetry, is Beowulf. And also a very good example about lyric poetry is The Wanderer, The Seafarer, The Husband Message, and The Wife's Lament. There was also Christian poetry such as Dream of the Road. We have Saint Augustine. Saint Augustine came to England in 597 AD and converted England to the Christian nation. After giving a general information about the Old English period, I'm going to give you some information about the main literary features of that period. We have anonymous, the word anonymous. Most of the literary works in that period, on that period, were anonymous. And also we have paganism. Paganism dominated the literary spirit of that period. It is also traceable through Christianity. We have evil and fate. Fate, there was very strong belief in fate, and also evil was symbolized by monster. There were no romantic love, and romantic love was absent, and also the attitude toward women was so respectful. In poetry, we have end rhyme, and end rhyme in those periods was ignored. And also we have alliteration and conics in poetry in those times. Alliteration was used as the chief ornamental device, and all the alliterative syllables were distressed. And also we have kenning in poetry in those times. Was considered as a compound word instead of single word. For example, Vale Road was used instead of sea, or Lifehouse instead of body, and Soul Destroyer was used instead of saying monster. After giving a general information about Old English literature, we come to the Middle English period. As I have mentioned, the timeline on that period, the Middle English period, is from 1066 to 1500. It is also subdivided into two shorter ages: Anglo-Norman period, 1066 to 1340, and also the age of Chaucer from 1340 to 1400 will be discussed later. The early part of the Middle English period is called Dark Age, because what actually happened during this time can hardly be known. Let's start a discussion with Anglo-Norman period. Anglo-Norman period started with Norman conquest in 1066. The literature of that period was written mainly in Anglo-Norman. The language of upper class was French, and also the ordinary people spoke Old English. Two universities were established. Oxford University was established in 12th century, and also the Cambridge University was established in 13th century. The very popular poet of that period were Geoffrey Monmouth, Wace, Layman, and the Pearl Poet. And also the very notable works of that period were Gawain, Sir Gawain, Green Knight, and the Green Knight, and also the Owl and the Nightingale. As I have mentioned, within the Middle English period, we have the age of Chaucer. The timeline on that period is from 1340 to 1400. Chaucer was very great poet who dominated on that period, and also the age of Chaucer is considered the opening moment of English literature. Geoffrey Chaucer lived under the rules of three kings, Edward III, Richard II, and Henry IV. The very important events in this period is 100 years war between French and England, and England fought French. And also we have Black Death, the bubonic disease, the bubonic plague disease caused by death. And also we have the Peasant Rebellion. The most significant and substantial works of Chaucer are, the Canterbury Tales, House of Fame, the Book of Duchess and Parliament of Fowls. And also the other notable poets of that period were Sir Troilus, Chris Sade, William Langland, John Gower, and John Wycliffe, who translated Bible Latin into vernacular language. Vernacular English was a dialect and language spoken by ordinary people. After giving a general information about Anglo-Norman period as well as the age of Chaucer, I would like to give you the main literary features and important facts of the whole Middle English period. So we have prose and poetry here. Poetry served as the main genre in those period, and also prose got a strong foundation. And drama began in the form of mystery play, morality play, and interlude. Three main themes, love, chivalry, and religion, were the main literary subject of that period. And also we have the spread of romance dominated in this age. The use of pentameter, pentameter, 10 syllables in each line began. And we have a stress alliteration was, dislodged, and also humor, irony, and satire were brought into practice. The most notable fact in the Middle English period where English Parliament was established in 1295, and also we have Crusade. Crusade was a religious battle between Muslims and Christians. We have the word William Caxton. William Caxton is known as the father of printing press. He was established printing press in 1476. And after that, we come to the Renaissance period. The Renaissance period began in 1453 with the fall of Constantinople. Constantinople was an ancient city which is now known as the Istanbul. The Renaissance period will be my forthcoming video. That's it for this video. I have discussed the Old English period as well as the Middle English period. If you find it interesting, please don't forget to subscribe my channel, hit the bell, then you will never miss an update. Thank you for watching.